exercising after the fast. Well, that depends dramatically on the specific situation involved. Depends on the person, depends on what they need to do. Many people are walking around with less muscle mass than they really need to be as healthy as possible. For your body to work properly, you need proper body composition. So if you've got enough fat or more than you need, but not enough muscle, then I'm going to recommend one thing and something different if it's a reverse situation. So it would depend. But here's the thing: you definitely want to begin exercising within a few days, 3, 4, 5 days, depending on how long the fast is, after breaking your fast, depending on the length of the fast. So after a 21-day fast, for most people around day 3, they want to start moving their body a little bit more. Okay, and then a little bit more the next day, a little bit more every day, because your body is creating lots of human growth hormone while fasting. You want to take advantage of that as soon as possible, because we're going to build muscle faster when those levels are higher. Okay? So it depends on the situation. All right? Anybody else? Yeah.
You said at your facility, a doctor and a nurse, and you're monitoring them.
Yeah. The question is this something you can do on your own? Anybody can stop eating. I mean, people tell me this all the time. We can just stop eating all by ourselves. Yes, you can. The trick really is knowing what is happening when you're fasting. What does it mean when you feel a certain way? What are the numbers telling us? How much water should you be consuming? Those things are difficult for most people to do. And so what we see all the time, people, and let me give you an example. I have a woman actually from LA who came to me last year. She had fasted twice on her own for 40 days, 42 days. She came to me, I love this person, don't get me wrong. She had a little bit of the, I already know everything attitude. Like, I got this, I just wanted to do it here in Costa Rica, but I already know this, right? Okay. When she left us, she said to me something like, this was far and away the most powerful and beneficial thing I've ever done. I can't believe how much I learned. It's completely different than what I've done before. Okay, because I have the experience to actually say to her, hang on. I mean, it turns out she was severely dehydrated. And by the way, most people are. And most people, let me come back to this because this is so important. Of all the things we measure, my opinion is hydration is the most important one. Okay? Now, most of you are pretty young. Robert, you've got to be at least 27, I'm guessing, something like that. Bridget, you look like you're probably 22. Those people who are concerned about the symptoms of aging, the things that happen as we get older, and what happens as we get older. We tend to lose our vision. We tend to have joint problems. We tend to shrink in height. Okay, we tend to get lots of wrinkles as we get older. All of these things are long-term chronic dehydration, my opinion. And we've reversed all of them by getting people hydrated. But here's the thing. We talked about the mucoid plaque. So again, if you're 50 years old, you've probably got in excess of 20 pounds in there. 20 pounds, okay? And that stuff sits there like a giant sponge. So I have a guy fasting with me now from Germany, and he said to me, I'm eating a fruit-based diet. Why am I less well hydrated than the average person? Because we see this all the time. Okay, people come in eating fruit-based, they're eating watermelon and other melons and papayas, etc., and they think I should be really well hydrated. Those people who are eating that way but not drinking enough water or drinking properly are usually more dehydrated than people eating conventionally. And that sounds crazy, but the reason why is because people eating conventionally are drinking a lot of water. They have to. They're getting the liquid in. Okay? Now, they're not the most dehydrated people on site. Those are the dry fasters. So have you heard about dry fasting? People who fast without water are putting themselves in serious danger. In fact, I've had 4 people I knew, all gone. One was a good friend. About a year before he died, he published on his Facebook profile, Loren, that's me, is the best raw food coach on the planet. But he wouldn't listen to me about drinking water and dry fasting, and he's now dead as a result of it. He destroyed his kidneys. Okay, your kidneys are filtering your blood every 24 minutes or so, 60 times a day. If there's not enough liquid there, okay, their job is to filter out all the stuff that your body doesn't want. But if there's not enough water, what happens? You actually damage your kidneys because it's more abrasive. Okay, that's what happens. His kidneys shut down, everything else follows after that. The same thing happened to 3 other people that I knew. Okay, so the people who have a dry fasting practice show up to us because they didn't get what they wanted, but it turns out they're always super dehydrated. Are these breatharians? Well, that's another conversation. Breatharians are people supposedly who don't consume anything. They just get prana, right? They get it from sunlight, air. Is that possible? I don't know. Most of the people over the last 25 years that I've been aware of who claim to be breatharians have been shown to, in fact, not be breatharians, but instead be liars. Okay, most of them were actually eating. And then they'll say, oh, I didn't say I don't eat, I don't have to eat. Yeah, it's a little different. Dry fasting is someone who goes for a period of time with no food or water, not indefinitely, for a period of time. And I've got a friend, I love this person, but she's making videos going, I can barely speak, I'm so thirsty, but this is good for me. I'm like, no, it isn't. Your body is clearly telling you to drink some water. Why aren't you listening? Okay? See, and people say, yeah, but in nature, animals fast without water. That is usually true. It's not always true. I was actually teaching a full-day seminar in Gdansk, Poland, and I was talking about this subject, and a man raised his hand and said, Loren, I'm a large animal veterinarian. Well, you're right, every animal fasts when it's sick enough or badly enough injured. But if they are dehydrated, they will seek water. Animals never ever say, for the next 7 days, I'm not drinking any water. They listen to their body. Okay, they live in their bodies. Okay, that's the difference. And why animals don't need water most of the time and people do? Why is that? How many of you grew up in the United States? Is that most of you? Most of us probably did. Did you eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? Did you ever try to eat one without drinking something? It's not possible. Okay, it's not going down. Okay, a lot of the things we eat these days, we're not going to be able to swallow without some liquid. It doesn't have to be the whole thing. It's okay. Thank you. Okay, so people have to drink. Right? Animals in nature are always eating the diet that they're meant to eat. A carnivore, a real carnivore, not the people, but real carnivores, what do? How does they drink blood? They drink blood, right. It's a little bit gory, I apologize in advance. A wolf catches his prey, bites through the neck, because all the blood, 30% of the blood goes to the brain. Okay? The brain's only 3 pounds. In our bodies, 3 pounds gets 30% of your blood supply. Okay? Bite through the neck, they drink all the blood first. They tear it open, eat all the water-rich internal organs. And then they do this crazy thing. They eat the flesh, get this, without cooking it first and putting it between 2 dry pieces of bread. Where'd they come up with that? How silly is that, right? Carnivores are eating a high water content meal, as is every other species on the planet. Only humans aren't doing that. Okay, people are dehydrated because of the way they eat. How many of you have had corn chips? It's California, everyone's had corn chips. Right? How much water is in corn chip?
4%. 3%.
3%. Okay, they're 3% water. Are they that dry when they come out of your body? You better hope not. That'd be kind of a little bit uncomfortable, wouldn't it? Okay, they go in 3% water, they come out 75% water. The stool is 75% water. Where's the water coming from? It's coming from your body. Okay, almost everyone is severely dehydrated because of their diet, and most people, the older they are, the more dehydrated they are because it's just more time consuming stuff they shouldn't be consuming. When we get the body clean, let me back up. Until we get the body clean, all that stuff is sitting in there. I realized with interruptions I never finished the earlier thought, but all that stuff is sitting in there, absorbing the water from our food and drink. We never get the body hydrated. How do we build it up? Okay, if you don't know metrics and you didn't grow up in the 60s or 70s, you might not know that an ounce contains 28 grams. Okay, there's 28 grams in an ounce. Imagine 1/10 of a gram, that's 1/280th of an ounce. That's a pretty small piece. If 1/280th of an ounce gets stuck with every meal, by the time you are 30, you've got 15 pounds of stuff in there. Okay? That's what happens. It's a little tiny bit at a time. It builds up. Okay? So that all that stuff in there is like a giant sponge. Until you get it out of your body, you can't get hydrated. Now, can you get it out with colonics and enemas? What do you think? There are some things you're flushing out with enemas and colonics. Beneficial bacteria, for instance. Okay, your gut biome. 10 trillion bacteria that live in your gut, you're going to flush some of those out. Okay, don't do that. You're going to weaken the bowel, you're going to alter the pH. The old material is stuck in the small intestine, not the large. There's a valve there that prevents the water from going into the small intestine. So colonics and enemas are not going to flush out any of that stuff. Salt flushes, herbal cleanses, juice fast, it doesn't matter what it is. Every single client who comes to us has pounds and pounds of herb material leave their body if they drink enough water during the process. Every single person. And getting it out is life-changing. Okay? Everything changes. Let me give you just one example because there's one piece that's been measured. Science says if your brain is 2% dehydrated, you lose 20% of your cognitive function. Most people are walking around with much more than 2% dehydration. All right? Other questions? Yeah.
So then you don't recommend the
What cleanses?
The colon cleanses as part of
No, don't recommend colon cleanses because again, we're gonna flush out beneficial bacteria, weaken the bowel, alter the pH, and we don't need to do it. When people fast at least 21 days, their body will eliminate all this old material. It's amazing what happens. Yeah. Anybody else?
What's the average percentage of hydration that people you see, and what's the healthy one?
Okay, question is what's the average percentage of hydration that we see? The way we calculate it, we see most people between 83 and 84% hydrated overall. So about 15 to 16% or 16 to 17% dehydrated. What we're looking for is 100%. I don't mean 100% of your body's water, that would be a problem. You have trouble sitting somewhere because you just run, right? What I'm saying is your lean tissue should be 80% water. When that's the case, you're 100% hydrated. Okay? Most people's lean tissue is going to be 67 to 68% water. And again, when that happens, as we age, wrinkles, shrinkage, all these things that happen. Okay? We can reverse all of them by simply rehydrating the body. Okay? Do you have any questions? Yeah.
How do people need to prepare for?
How do people need to prepare for this? The way we ask people to prepare is to spend at least 3 or 4 weeks eating as simply, as optimally as possible. If you weren't here at the beginning, optimally for me means mono, high water content fruit meals. Okay, mono, that means one thing at a time. So just watermelon, just mangoes, just papayas, one thing at a time, or simple green salad. Only those two things, nothing else. 3 or 4 weeks that way, that puts your body in a much better state to be able to start the process. It's not 100% necessary, but it's useful. Okay? I know there's a couple of you that were here last time, and I know I shared this last time. We had a woman. We have people sometimes who think, after the fast, I'm going to eat perfectly. This is my last chance to have the whatever. And so we have people that had pizza the night before or whatever. It's not a good idea. You're not going to feel well. A couple years ago, we had a young woman, and I swear to you, I'm not making this up, from California. We get a lot of Californians, and this woman comes in, and immediately as she starts fasting, she's nauseous, and she's starts vomiting and she's feeling terrible. And this goes on and on. I said to her after a few days, I said, did you follow my directions about cleaning up your diet before you came? She said, not exactly. I said, okay, what exactly did you do? She said, well, for the last 3 weeks, I just ate donuts.
She got the mono.
Mono donuts, yeah. That was a disaster. Yeah, don't do that. All right, get a question.
How long is sick animals?
How long do sick animals fast? It depends on the animal. Large dogs will go sometimes many weeks without food. There are reptiles that will often go months without eating. It just,
Because they're sick.
if they're sick, it depends on what's going on with them. It just depends on the situation. Yeah, I'm not an animal expert. Okay, hang on. Is there more?
I have other
We'll come back to you. Jamie, do you have a question? Why not?
Well, I was looking at how much water I had in my body because I went to this test, so it said 80% water.
Brain tissue should be 80. We can look at that later. I'll help you understand.
I'm just covering my eyes.
Yeah, it's okay. All right. Anybody else have? Yes, sir.
How regularly would you recommend the fast?
How regularly? That's a
If
great
you're in
question.
like a disease-free state.
If you have a disease.
If you're in a disease-free state and you're kind of like this.
Okay. You're a relatively healthy person. How long should you fast? How long?
How
Should you,
regularly?
how regularly should you do this? Okay. Good question. So most people only need to fast 3 or 4 times ever if they make optimal choices afterwards and in between. They only need to do 3 or 4 long fasts and that's it. They don't need any more than that. Okay? For most people. Not always. I'm staying right now and house sitting for a friend. She was a client many years ago. She's now fasted with me 8 times. About 2 months ago when she started this fast, she wrote to me and said, on a call, she said, are you still in the U.S.? I said, yeah. She said, we're going on vacation for a month. Do you want to stay in our house in Encinitas, facing the ocean? I'm like, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, I'll take that. She just completed her 8th fast and was finally able to move some material she couldn't move before that. Just wasn't able to get it out. She was doing great and feeling amazing. She's a health coach. She's very healthy, but she had this ongoing pain in her ascending colon, something that she couldn't get moving. Now it's handled. It's gone. Okay. So for the average person, if they're healthy, you don't need to do this on an ongoing basis forever. You can fast. You can wait 6 months or more. Fast again. Do it 3 or 4 times. If you're making optimal choices, you don't really need any more than that. Okay? Yeah.
Minimum time would be 6 months in between a long fast?
6 months is the minimum I normally recommend. We will make exceptions to that in various cases. I've got a woman who will be starting her 3rd fast with me. She is 7 years old. She has stage 4 cancer. Well, she had stage 4 cancer. The tumors have almost disappeared as a result of the first 2 fasts. And we haven't waited 6 months. Almost. She did her first fast with me about a year ago. She's about to start her 3rd one. So it's been, between, and the first one was 6 weeks long. The second one was 35 days. I don't remember how long this one's going to be. 30, I think. So she's probably waited 4 months in between. In a situation like that, it makes sense not to wait longer than necessary. Okay? Yeah.
Speaking of people who have cancer or tumors, what exactly is happening in the body when they're fasting? What's causing them to down or
Okay, it's a great question. The question was, when someone's fasting, what's happening with the tumors? And I think it's important to start off talking a little bit about what cancer is in the first place, and what's going on there, okay? I have a theory about this. Let's use some examples. People who smoke cigarettes or other tobacco, or anything really, often wind up with lung cancer. Why? Toxic particulate matter goes into the lungs, okay? People who use chewing tobacco, just a pinch between your cheek and gum, what happens? You wind up with gum, tongue, lip cancer, okay? State troopers in the U.S. on these long stretches of highway, and what they used to do is they would have the radar gun sitting in their lap, because as soon as they saw a car, they would whip it up faster that way than if it was in the holster. They don't do that anymore. You know why? Much higher rates of testicular cancer. Why? Because toxins, radiation's leaking out of the gun all the time. All the time. So cancer, I believe, is caused by two things. Okay? Two things coming together. Toxicity and poor immune function. Now why poor immune function? Science tells us that every single day, every one of us has cancer cells forming in the body. But today, only 50% of the population wind up with cancer. Only 50%. How come the other 50% don't get cancer? The answer is their bodies are destroying those cells as they form. Okay? The bodies are destroying the cells as they form. So we know our bodies have the ability to do that. That's why only half the population gets cancer. So when people go get chemotherapy, let's look at if cancer is caused by toxicity and poor immune function, what does chemotherapy do to the body's toxicity? Dramatically increases it. What does it do to your immune function? Dramatically decreases it. How about radiation? Same thing. Okay? Cancer treatment, when it's successful, like breast cancer for women, usually women, men can get breast cancer, they say you're successful if you survive 5 years. I don't know about you guys, at 63, 5 years doesn't seem like a very long time. And 5 years has gone by like that, okay? I don't consider 5 years successful. Give me 30 years, maybe that's successful, not 5, okay? So, cancer treatments cause cancer. Tumors are not cancer. I mean, they are, but they're not. Tumors are symptoms of poor immune function and toxicity. That's what tumors are. If you eliminate the tumor through radiation, through chemotherapy, through surgery, did you make your body healthier? No. In each of those cases, you make your body much less healthy. Does this make sense? You're not healing anything. You're just eliminating the symptom. Okay? What fasting does is it allows the body to eliminate the toxicity and to increase the body's immune function. It actually addresses the underlying problems so cancer goes away. Doesn't always work because, again, sometimes there's just not enough energy for the body to be able to do this. Okay? Does that make sense? Yeah.
What about fasting? Say someone went to chemotherapy and like the tumor's gone.
Yeah.
What would the process be? Say if they, later do want to fast. Like, would you recommend? Like, say if someone found you after they already did chemotherapy and they're good, but after breast cancer, 5 years is kind of not good. Do you think maybe they could still fast after they went through
No,
that
absolutely. They can fast afterward. No question about it. And in fact, it's an interesting question. Let's say somebody has decided they're going to go ahead and get conventional treatment. There are studies that show, by the way, animal studies, I do not believe we have the right to experiment on animals. Not ever, under any circumstance. But there are studies that exist, so I'll talk about them. Okay? Studies with animals, they induce cancer, and then in one group, they just give them chemotherapy. In the other group, they fast them first, and then they give them chemotherapy. And the ones that just get chemotherapy, they all died. And the ones that fast first, they all survive. Okay? So fasting even before chemotherapy allows the body to become much healthier to be able to withstand it. It's terribly poisonous stuff. Okay? What I would do is I would have somebody fast, eat perfectly, then go get whatever treatment they feel like they need to get, and then fast again afterwards. Short. Okay.
So I did fasting for 3 days with distilled water. Third day I was like,
Distilled water.
yeah, like
Okay.
sideways.
Right.
I didn't feel any energy.
I know you weren't here at the beginning. First of all, that's kind of cool. So first of all, I would never encourage anyone to even drink distilled water, let alone fast water. It's not particularly good for us. Okay. Say again?
No minerals.
It has no minerals in it doesn't have the naturally occurring minerals that all natural water has. That our bodies actually need for the water to cross cell membranes and to conduct electricity. We run on electricity. It also has a negative charge. Okay, and people say, well, that's good because it removes the positively charged toxins from your bloodstream. Anybody remember magnetism in 6th grade? What do positively charged things attract?
Negative.
Negatively charged things attract.
Positive.
Positive. Do they decide which ones? No. If it's negatively charged, it attracts anything positively charged. Aside from the toxins in your body, some of which are positively charged, what else in your bloodstream is positively charged? Sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium. You're taking those things out of your bloodstream when you drink distilled water. Don't do it. Okay? Now, what he said was, but I felt super weak. So, how much water were you drinking?
I usually don't drink a lot, so I usually maybe 4 bottles.
How big are the bottles?
This small.
8 ounces.
2 liters? 2 liters maybe? Okay, so nearly everybody needs at least 4 liters at the beginning of the process. How much you need goes up over the course of the process. The woman I just talked about a few minutes ago, who just completed her 8th fast with me, normally drinks between 7 and 8 liters per day throughout most of her process. Now it's less now than before. Why? Why does she need less now after already fasting 6-7 times? She got a lot of that garbage out of her body already. The reason your needs go up as you continue is because the old material is breaking down and absorbing water. So every day you need a little bit more water. Okay? You were feeling the way you did because you were becoming more and more dehydrated. Okay? And this happens all the time when people fast on their own.
Share an experience I had in the desert. I felt this something inside me said, "Look, stop," and I heard from within me just breathe from my nose.
Uh-huh.
I started breathing from the nose, and the third breath, it was gone. It's like, wow.
Okay, so if you didn't hear the comment, you said he was in the desert, he had this need to drink water, felt thirsty, but something said just breathe through your nose, and when he did that, he didn't feel thirsty anymore. So let's clarify. By the time most people feel thirsty, they're already very dehydrated. Okay, so it didn't mean you were hydrated, but if you breathe through your mouth, especially in a dry desert, you're going to irritate your throat. You're going to feel even more dry. Okay, your mouth is going to get dry. Okay, we're meant to breathe through the nose, which helps humidify the air that we're breathing and remove particulates. So you're always better off breathing through your nose. Okay, who else had a question? Anybody? Yeah.
What if you have extremely low blood pressure?
What if you have extremely low blood pressure? Good question. In most cases, so if you're dehydrated, your blood pressure is going to be lower. Okay. So in most cases, what's going on with someone who has extremely low blood pressure, they're dehydrated. We can fix that by getting more fluid into your body.
Yeah, because when I juice fasted, my average blood pressure is about 80/50, and I was very dizzy. When I was younger, my average was like 90/50, 90/60, and then it went up.
Yeah. So
But
the comment was when she juice fasted, her average blood pressure was only 80/50, and that does mean that her blood volume was lower than it should be. Okay. Why would blood volume be lower? Why? I'm sorry.
no, why? You're right.
Why would blood volume?
Dehydration?
Well, here's what happens.
Oh.
Every day, okay, your body is retiring blood cells that are damaged. They're worn out, they're damaged, they have to be replaced. We replace all of our cells, okay? Some cells take 7 years. Most cells are replaced every 90 days or less, okay? blood cells, I don't know how long they live, but I do know that every minute of your life, science tells us that your body is retiring 2 million blood cells every minute. 2 million. Okay? Now, in order to replace those blood cells, what does it need? Well, it needs raw materials. Blood is mostly what? Water. 92% water. If you don't have enough water, your body can't make the blood you need. Your blood volume drops. If your blood volume drops, your blood pressure drops. You get dizzy when you get up. This is what's happening. Okay, that's probably what's going on. You just weren't getting enough water.
Yeah, I was drinking about 5 quarts a day.
You're drinking 5 quarts a day. How were you drinking them?
So I was drinking them throughout the day, like 2 green juices, 2 orange juices, and 1 pineapple.
Okay, so she's talking about drinking juices, not water. This is a juice fast. By the way, I don't do any juice fasting anymore. I started out with juice fasting many years ago. My longest fast was 120 days, only juices. And then I did a week on water. And I was like, oh, okay, that's it. No more juices for me, just water. Okay, it's much more powerful. But the thing is, if you drink, first of all, when you're drinking juices, which contain all kinds of things, your body has all those things it has to get rid of. How does it get rid of those things? Urine, exactly. Okay, water coming out of your bloodstream. Okay, urine is blood plasma plus whatever you're getting rid of. Okay, so the more stuff in there, the more you have to pee, and the more water you're going to need. Okay, but it also depends on how quickly you drink them. There's a limit to how much your 2 healthy kidneys can process in a given amount of time. So my recommendation is no more than 16 ounces or roughly 500 milliliters per hour, slowly over the course of the hour. If you drink faster than that, you just pee it out. It doesn't help you. Okay? Does that make sense? Yeah.
What water do you recommend? What's the best kind of water?
The best is clean spring water, which isn't always easy to find, but that's the best there is. We can't improve on that. Yeah, Jane? No, not just any brand. I mean, when I'm stuck here in the U.S. and I don't have access to anything else, I'll buy Mountain Valley in the glass bottles. Best I know of. Good stuff. Yeah. Yeah,
Are you
Robert?
saying that Wi-Fi causes cancer?
Yes. Yeah. The question was, I said Wi-Fi causes cancer. Yes, indeed. Exposing the body. Nice to meet you, Barbara and Joseph. Nice to meet you both. Yeah. I'll look forward to seeing you in
Greece.
In Greece?
Yes.
Yeah, that could be a few years yet.
Yes.
Don't wait till then. Costa Rica's amazing. Nice to see you. Take care. Say hi to your brother for me. Bye-bye.
You say Wi-Fi?
Yeah, we're talking about radiation. Yeah, radiation. Look, every organism on the planet vibrates at a specific natural frequency. When we expose ourselves to electrical systems, to microwave towers, right, cell phone signals, and to Wi-Fi, we're negatively affecting the vibrations of the body. That will indeed cause cancer. Contribute to it. It's a really good question. The question is, does that include smartwatches? I'm nervous about smartwatches. They're affecting your body's energy system, and I would just as soon not use them. Yeah.
Also, the electric cars, I've heard, right?
Electric cars. Yeah, I mean, there's some people that say that's an issue. I don't really know. I haven't looked into that very carefully yet. I don't know. How do you clean out the small intestine? There's a crazy thing you've probably not heard of yet. It's called fasting. The body cleans it out by fasting. Your body breaks it down and hydrates it, and then when you start eating, you eliminate it. Yeah. Remember the girl that had 318 pounds in 33 days? That's what that was. Yeah. All right, other questions, anyone? Nick? Yeah, please. You want to come on up? How does fasting affect your gut biome? It's a great question. Come on up, Nick. Whenever you're here, I'll give you a moment. How does fasting affect your gut biome? So, it's funny because so many people think, well, I have to eat sauerkraut, I have to drink kombucha, I have to do all these things. You don't. You have to get out of your body's way. Someone misses you.
It's very codependent.
Yeah. He's right over here. See him? Why don't you let him come?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, so your body completely rebalances your gut biome with what should be there. I mean, we see almost everybody these days has issues with the gut. It's like 75% of our clients mention digestive tract issues. Their gut biome is messed up. By the time people are done with us, they digest perfectly. They have no more issues. Done. Your body takes care of it all by itself.
So where is the bacteria coming from?
Where does
Does
bacteria?
it live in there while you're
Well, so it's very difficult. It's not impossible. There are some people, but very few people effectively destroy all of the bacteria. If you don't destroy all the bacteria, they repopulate very easily. Okay, very easily.